Alright, so on page 154 it says how to conduct regression analysis using the Classpad. And so there's two lots of data, birth rate and life expectancy. So in list 1, what I've done is I've put the birth rate. And in list 2 is our life expectancy. Alright, so we're looking at those two things. So the first part in these questions asks you to write down what the explanatory variable and the response variable are. Now, it's always the one in the top, and on that page the one in the top is the birth rate. So our explanatory variable is our birth rate, and then our response variable is our life expectancy. Alright, so the next part of what we're going to do is enter the data in the list. So if we wanted to use our calculator, we're going to enter the data in the list, which I've already done. And then we might then be asked to do a scatter plot. So just running through how we do scatter plots. No, that's not what I want. Up here, which sort of graph? Yes. Scatter plot? Yes. X list, so that's always our explanatory variable. Y list is always our response. Frequency square, you can change how it's marked if you wish. Alright, then over here, on this one down here, and there it is, there's our scatter plot. Alright, if it looks a bit funny, always go to the zoom. I mean, if you go initialise, that doesn't help me. If you go to auto, doesn't have an auto. Original, let's go back to what it was. Alright, so here's our scatter plot. All these little dots here are our bits of data. So now we need to have a look at some calculations. So when we're looking at this, and if we're trying to find a trend, we're starting up higher down here and getting lower down here. So remember, it's the birth rate and the life expectancy. So we'll go to analysis. Calculate, not analysis. Calculate. Regression. Alright, we want a linear reg. And there's our stuff in there. So list 1, list 2, that's right, frequency formula. If you want to copy the formula, you can copy the formula. If you want to put the residuals in another column, which I will do because we'll draw a residual graph later. You switch that on, and where do you want to put it? So I want to put it in list 3. So then I'll go OK. And so there is now my information. Alright, so what sort of association might there be? Well, we'll have a look here. This information. Remember, our association what we want to do is we want to look at the R, so the correlation coefficient, not the R squared, but the R. And when we look at this one, R is negative 0.8. So what does that tell us about the association? Tells us two things. First of all, the sign here tells us that it's a negative association, so it's negative. And what does the 0.8 tell us about the strength. Strong, weak, it'll be strong, 0.8, closer to 1, remember? So negative and it's strong. It's 0.8, close to there. Alright, I'll just put the R squared, we might use the R squared later. So I'll just write the R squared up here so I don't have to go back to here, 0.65. Alright, so then when I go OK, it draws the graph in there for me. And so as you can see, here's our line of best fit, and some of them are very close, and then we've got some others that are a bit further away. So when we look at that and that association, negative, yep, it's a negative gradient, 0.8, yeah, it's pretty strong, but we've still got a few things that are a bit away from it. All right. The next thing, oh, I forgot to write all of those things down, didn't I? So I'll have to go back to calc. Regression, linear reg. Right, this is what I need to know. So if we then need to write an equation, so in this one here, you need to go by what's up there. So these numbers, the A and B, relate to what's here. So there's a couple of different versions of what you can have up there. All right, so there's that one that's showing at the moment, or there's this. All right. Doesn't matter which one it is that you use, you still get the same answer for both, but you just need to be aware that this -1, which is the A, is here, and 105 is the B plus on the end. All right. So what is it? So Y, well, Y is our life expectancy. So we would write that life expectancy equals what? Equals the A. So the A is -1.44 times the birth rate plus B, and B is 105. .372. Now, we're talking about people being born. We can only have whole persons being born, so we'll round that one off to 105. All right. And there's drawing it again, it flashes that up. All right. Correlation coefficient, already talked about that. The R squared. So again, if we're talking about a coefficient of determination, remember that 0.65 says that 65% of the variation in life expectancy is affected by the birth rate. Okay. So using, and I gave you the actual proper wording that you should use. What else did we do? Oh yes, residual plot. So a residual plot again is a scatter plot. So I need to go back up to here. Oh, I forgot. Oh no, there they are. In list 3. So there's all my residuals. So some points are above, some points are below. So I now need to, so you notice when I did that, so I noticed that the box around here, the blue, so that's the screen that's active at the moment. So this menu relates to this screen, the one that's active, and then when I change that and go back up to the lists, alright, now this screen's active and this now changes. So what do we want to do? We want to draw a scatter plot. This time of the residuals. So list 1, yes, that stays the same. So it's still the explanatory variable. But the Y list this time, we want the residuals. So we change that to residual, set that, and then come up and tell it to draw. There they are. And so there's our residual plot. So as you can see, there's some that are a bit away. These 4 here are a bit away, but these ones here are pretty close. And as we said yesterday, if there's no distinct pattern and it's kind of random, then a linear relationship between the two probably exists, and we'll get to next week on things that are not linear relationships. All right. So in this particular one, as I said, for the residuals, the residual plot, a random plot, suggests linear relationship. Okay, so yesterday we did 3C, and 3D is, as you can see, closely related to that. So this stuff is the 3D questions. All right, anything on any of that anyone wants me to go over again before? No? All right, good.